in this way of ours that the holy companions what they achieved. When people say that, oh, who celebrated Mawlid at the time of Sayyidina Muhammad, they celebrated the life and guarded the life of Sayyidina Muhammad as the most precious gift that God Almighty could have given to the universe. With that love and ihtiram and tashrif, that just a summary because we have so many different backgrounds of people listening. But the holy companions 313 set out with Prophet for something easy, not in battle, but there's a caravan of all our goods that were stuck in Mecca that they took and they stole. We heard that they're coming in a certain area, we go out and take our property back. And 313 of the companions, the holy companions, they went and accompanied Sayyidina Muhammad for intention of taking their property back. No armour, 2 horses, no weaponry, very light, and they went out. And for us every step of Prophet's life is a reminder that it was enticing. Ulumul awwaleen wa akhirin. He knows that this test that Allah is about to send to them, you always wrap the test with candy. So they were enticed by, it's going to be some property, it's going to be something easy, don't worry. If you tell people how difficult the path will be, most people will run. So then they teach from these actions of Sayyidina Muhammad which are eternal realities, and they accompanied Prophet and word got out that they're coming, and then those caravans asked for reinforcement. And they say from 5 to 10,000 mounted a heavy army to come now and to destroy them. At that time when word got to Prophet that this is no longer going to be something easy just to take back our property, that they have now mounted a full attack and they're coming to destroy. And that was the time in which Sayyidina Muhammad then was ordered to test the companions. That we came for one purpose, things have changed in life and now look they're coming to attack us with a huge army. Because I didn't tell you that it was going to be like that, anyone wants they're free to leave. And the gist of that whole story, because it's a very long beautiful narration, but for us to understand that this path is hard, life struggle is hard, all the testings are hard, and every time we want to give up, Prophet comes and teaches, look at my life, look at the life of my companions. Nothing of what we did was easy. The fasting that we gave to you was in 140-degree temperature with no access to water, very little access to food. And through their struggling and difficulties we have now fasting in air-conditioned rooms with beautiful foods and markets and juices flowing, and people will complain that their head hurts so they're going to break fast early. So it means how much they suffered in their way. So now you are free to leave if you don't want to stay, but they're mounting an army to attack us. And the gist of the whole reality is the holy companions said, there's no way. What you said was forbidden, we stopped. What you said was halal, we accepted. We've gone to the end of the earth with you, we would never leave your side. We will live and die by your side. With that level of rijal, that how Prophet developed and built them, the perfection of their character, and what Allah gave them of an immense love. Love for what? The Divinely Presence that they have not seen, but love for Sayyidina Muhammad. That was and that is the eternal Mawlid. That is a celebration and is the celebration of the life of something that you hold dear and precious, that there's no way we could leave your side. We swore our allegiance to you to live and die by you. There would be no greater honour than to stand our post. And 313 came against these 5,000. And Allah so happy with them that when their battle began, Prophet came out of his tent and began to give takbir that Allah has sent over 3,000 angels. And he could see the angels were mounted and coming down with red turbans, with yellow turbans, with black turbans. And as they were moving on to the field, wherever the angels' swords of lights were coming, the heads were falling. And say, Ya Rabbal Izzati wa Azammati wa Jabarut, and the whole battlefield was being annihilated. And Allah describes, it's not your hand that threw but it was us. Through your faith, through your firmness, through your love for Sayyidina Muhammad you can move a mountain. So imagine moving a date and trying to fast and trying to pray. These things that we struggle for, it puts in perspective for what they did and how much they loved and how much they were committed to their way and to that love of Prophet that those 313 reached all their realities in that reality. And they became the 313 of the awliyaullah who inherit from the 313 messengers of Allah. By means of Sayyidina Muhammad's perfection of all his companions, 124,000 sahabi, 313 ahlul Badr, means every number of the heavenly kingdom and the stations of the heavenly kingdom were mirrored upon the earth. And by means of their faith, by means of their love for Sayyidina Muhammad they were granted immense victories, immense victories. And that's why when we mention them tonight and mention them throughout all our nasheeds and salawats, by their faith and by their commitment and by their love, Ya Rabbi, grant us a victory against our internal devils, grant us a victory from every oppression, every difficulty that blocking us towards your satisfaction. That their nazar be upon us by when Allah says, remember me, I remember you in a higher association. These nights and every night is a way of getting that ticket to remember these holy people, that I'm remembering you in my small little nothing state, and what Allah granted you of magnificence and realities. Shine your nazar upon me, make a mention upon me in Allah's presence, in Sayyidina Muhammad's presence, that you don't think from these 313 ahlul Badr they're not going to pray for us. That, Ya Rabbi, take away their mushkilat, take away their difficulty, take away their anxieties, take away their sadnesses. They know better what our difficulty is than ourselves. So then they remind, anytime you're feeling overwhelmed and stressed and in difficulty, or that this path is hard and the way seems to be long, look at their lives, how much they laid on the line for the love of Sayyidina Muhammad. That without a doubt, they said, there's not a doubt in our heart that we came to live and die with you, never to leave your side. Means then that is a reminder for our lives. And always remember that when we accompany these awliyaullah, the energy and the practices that is being emitted is going to make a lot of people agitated. When we come at the beginning, and the beginning could be years because you never really practice it very strong. When you come at the beginning you're like a wet log. You know the wet log, as much as you put fire on it, it doesn't really feel anything, it's just ecstatic and happy, and this is the most amazing place, this is so fantastic, this is so great, because you're still a wet log. When the fire hits enough on the log and hits enough on the log actually becomes dry and then begins to burn. That burn is all the bad characteristics. That burn is the fire in this dunya instead of the fire of akhirah. That burn is all the difficulties and testings that Allah want to put insan through now before the grave. So it means that whatever your fate in life, face it, there's nothing to run from. Where are you going to hide? The grave will catch you with that test, and that will be 70,000 times more difficult. So it means then they encourage for us to understand that sit in it, sit in it. When you feel the energies are coming, you feel yourself aggravated and agitated, most definitely. Because as these energies are hitting you, every type of agitation is coming out. We said before, imagine yourself like a bathtub with 1,000 roaches. If you give them space, they're all running around, all the bad energy, bad characteristic is running around wherever it wants. As soon as you introduce an element of heat and a block and begin to push all the roaches up, they have no more space to run and they begin to attack each other. Kind of not a comfortable example, but our bad character is not very nice either. It's not something precious and like a jewel, it's more like a rat. So when these elements are moving and they have freedom, they can eat, they can yell at people and scream at people, of course they're happy and you don't feel any problems. But when you're with the shaykhs and you pray with them, eat with them, the tajalli that Allah now going to mirror through their being and onto your soul is going to create an element of immense heat, especially the tajallis of haybah. The haybah and majestic energy is meant to al-muntaqim, to come and begin to destroy. It's there to destroy all bad characteristics, so the burn. And that's why Sayyidina Jalaluddin Rumi say, be like the moth to the flame. So this is not anything new, it's just people just have to take back their memory and remember. Be like a moth on your path to the flame. And the moth, if you ever watch in country places, I don't see moth anymore, but you would see the flies actually fly into the fire. Now light bulbs they hit the glass and then they fall. But before that they were searching for nur. So the fly actually doesn't think of itself anymore, it's lost in its love and it begins to fly into the flame. And you see it catching on fire. Everything will burn but what will remain is divine love. Allah wants to burn everything but His ishq. Everything that is non-important will burn in this flame. All that will be left standing is the love of Allah and His Rasul. This is our difficulty, that's why all these tests are coming, because Allah going to burn away the difficulties. That's what we said at the beginning of Ramadan is Sifat al-Muntaqim, 81 Surah al-Taghweer, 81st name of Allah from Dalal Khairat, 81st name of Sayyidina Muhammad Dhul Fadl, the source of all grace and bounty. So as Allah is burning, Prophet is sending the rahmah. Allah burns and cleans and Prophet beautifies and makes it to be fragrant and sweet, so that it's not just charcoal. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. ولشرف النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى أصحابه الكرام وعلى مشايخنا في طريقة النقشبندية العلية وسائر ساداتنا وصديقينا. الفاتحة. Love me, Ahbab, you know who they are? And the Holy Companion said, that must be us because we love you, we are with you. He said, Ya Rasul Kareem. So, no, you are my companions, you are my ashab. But there are people who are coming, they are my ahbab, my lovers, and they love me so much that they would give everything for one gaze from Prophet upon their soul. And Sahabi were so astonished with that, and awliyaullah come to teach us that these Sahabi kiram, from whatever they've taught us all our lives of the blessings of awliyaullah, the nazar of awliyaullah, that when you come into the association, these associations are for adab, because they teach you that these awliyaullah, they are mobile phones for Allah. The holy hadith that you approach through voluntary worship, I become the eyes in which you see, the ears in which you hear, the breath in which you breathe, the tongue in which you speak. That's a description of a mobile phone. That they're a phone for Allah's Divinely Presence. Wherever they are, Allah sees through their eyes. And that's why Prophet said, be careful for the vision of the believer, for he sees with the light of Allah. It's all sahih, it's all confirmed. That's why you respect them, because when they pass by you, who looking through their eyes? What's your ihtiram? What's your level of respect? What's your level of character? There's not a barn, it's the heavenly kingdom. If they don't teach you respect here, how Allah going to bring you into His paradise? When you don't know how to have ihtiram and have respect, because they teach there's a mobile phone. Allah sees through their eyes, and Allah doesn't need to even do it, He hands it to His Khalifa. He hands it to Sayyidina Muhammad said, look through their eyes, hear through their ears, speak through that voice. On the hands in which you touch, yadullah is moving through their hands. On the feet in which you move, they have qadam as-siddiq, and that's why they're muqaddam. And so much so that you become rabbaniyun and you have power of kun fayakun. Their du'a is accepted by Allah because Allah already within them inspiring that du'a, because they are the people of taslim and submission. And then they begin to teach these mobile phones. Imagine then the companions, what type of power Prophet had bestowed upon them. Awliya come and say, when Prophet described that, immediately the arwah of all these ahbab appeared. Not something difficult. When Prophet talks, imagine the power that people feel now, imagine the power in the presence of Sayyidina Muhammad. Every word what he was saying, what type of miracles people were experiencing. When he's telling his holy companions for a purpose, that you love me, you're with me, you fought your life and death with me, but my ummah is very dear to me, and there's a ummah that coming, my ahbab who love me. Could there be anything sweeter for the companions to hear? Because they love Prophet. People coming that love you like that, say, yeah, they would die for one vision of me. And you see me all the time, they would die for one vision. They come, they max out their credit cards, they give what they can't afford to give, they go where they can't afford to go, they do everything for the vision of Sayyidina Muhammad's rida and satisfaction upon them. And these companions, imagine what they felt. Awliya say immediately Prophet showed all their souls. And what he was asking them is that, from what Allah gave to you, keep your nazar upon them, inspire them, wash them, cleanse them, make sure that they are pure and purified. And that's why they come to teach us that this from Nabiyin, these awliyaullah they're taking from the Prophets, is a reflection to the companions. From the companions they're sending their tajalli to the awliya upon earth. 124,000 companions, they reflect to 124,000 awliyaullah upon earth. But from their station they are watching these ahbab, they are keeping the nazar upon these ahbab. They've been guiding by Allah's permission that to guide them to their destination, guide them to the praising of that reality. That praising is an immense army from the heavens. That praising is not something small. You see it as a circle of just sitting and chanting, it is the battalions of all the heavens. That sound to be made upon earth is not a small sound. Means that when they inspired for you to love Prophet, they inspired our souls to go into these houses of praising, go into the circles of the zikr, they are the circles of paradise. Go into the circles that praise upon Sayyidina Muhammad. Every time you praise, it's a trumpet from paradise that destroys all evilness in every direction. It's not the smallest but it's the greatest and biggest front line from the heavens. Means in these circles are surrounded by malaika, and every time the praising come like a trumpet that puts out energy and begins a wave of destruction against every falsehood. And that's why the devils are so against the praising, so against these associations of love and muhabbad, because they put out the vibrations from paradise. And Allah describes, when the haqq comes the falsehood is crushed. The two they don't match and they don't come together. So imagine then what a light that they're watching over us, what a love that they've bestowed upon us, what inspiration they gave to us, that go into those circles and be from those whom blow the trumpet for Allah. They blow the trumpet of haqq through the immense darkness and immense zulumat upon this earth. As soon as they recite, energies and lights are moving. And the greatest of energy and the greatest of light, because it's the love of Sayyidina Muhammad, moving, moving, moving. Everywhere they go it's like the trumpets of Jericho. They have it in all traditions that they would blow the shofar. What's the one you have? And the walls would come down. It's written in all holy books. When Allah supports the sound, it's like the trumpet of qiyamah. These angels that are coming through the recitations, they're blowing sounds and vibration that destroy and utterly destroy every type of falsehood. And this is the great honour that Prophet gave to us, to raise that flag, send that energy, bring out that light and that love, inshaAllah.
Welcome to Muhammadan Way YouTube channel, your premier destination for videos on Sufi spirituality, classical Islamic teachings and realities of the soul. With a library of over 1,000 videos and new titles uploaded weekly. Join us to discover true meaning and inner peace in our often troubled world. Click the link now to subscribe.